Okay, we're here.
Good evening and welcome to the Business Suites of Brass Mill. I am Dr. Stacey Venable and this is Know Your Purpose. They didn't already started cutting up, so I'm letting y'all know right now. This is going to be a segment that is a little different than what we usually have on. There was a lot of comments and things in my inbox, so I wanted to answer them, but I wanted to answer them with a panel of people, like-minded people, and also mindset changing people. So before we get started, I'm going to throw a little bit of house cleaning out there to you. My disclosure is very simple. These are our own opinions, our own views. We are not taking them from anyone else. We're not adding to anyone else. So tonight, if you feel anything offended you, maybe this was not the platform for you, or maybe it was. You could take learning nuggets, because we are going to throw nuggets out there that you can get your pen and your paper and you can remember them. But tonight, we're going to step into something a little more controversial, because within knowing your purpose, you have to know that you were created with that purpose first and foremost. But there are things along the journey that are going to throw you off your purpose. So we want to make sure that we are staying aligned with our purpose, and with being aligned, there are avenues. So these are some of the avenues that we're going to talk about. But first of all, I want to thank my guests for coming on tonight. We have Miss Kecia from Miss Chat and Chew. And if you don't air in on her podcast, you are missing something. I am here for it every Thursday night, and ma'am. She don't play. Yes, ma'am. So we have our good friend, Everson Travers. Travers. I always mess his name up, and I'm his business coach, and I be butchering stuff. And he's here from Travers Enterprise. And the thing about it is, if you haven't tuned into some of the great things that he also does a lot for the community. That's why he and I job so well. We've been at this thing for over a year. There's some love, there's some hate, but one thing we know, that cooler heads prevail, and our mindset does not change within this game of entrepreneurship. Understand tonight, entrepreneurship is not for everyone, okay? Understand that. The weak-minded and the ones that don't want to change their mindset, I can promise you, along with my guests, it's going to alter something within your business if you don't get on track. Again, one of the great things about getting on track, get yourself a business coach, get yourself an accountant, get yourself a tax, set yourself up for the right things before you get into entrepreneurship. Because if you don't have those things aligned, they can also become trouble. So look, let's do this. Miss Kecia, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to move over there to Mr. Everson.
All right. So since we're talking about our purposes, when I stepped into my purpose, honestly, it was 25 years after I did, my time in the service. So who would have thought in my 40s? Yeah, I know I don't look like I'm in my 40s.
Girl, go ahead and tell it. Because I'm in my 40s too. I'm looking though.
I know. And this is a clean face. Okay. But honestly, who would have thought that, doing 25 years in the military,
yes,
hustling, taking care of my kids, because I was a single parent, and I loved being a soldier. I was great at my job. I knew I was great, and I really thought that was my purpose. But then when I got out of the military, it was like, who am I again?
Right. Lost.
So it took me a couple of years, and I had some fear, obviously. And so, but baby, when I did step into that purpose.
Yes.
Baby.
Let's give it to her.
Baby. It's a feeling like never before. So,
right.
So I would say, that's my story in a whole, just as who I am. My job doesn't make me. The purpose that God gave me to speak to people, be open, share my heart, share my love with people. That's my purpose. And so that's what I walk in my purpose every day, and God makes provisions.
So yes, so that was one of the reasons why we brought Miss Kecia on, because she also has, us three here on the panel tonight, we share very similar stories, and our grind is very similar, and the outcome of our grind has been very similar. That's why we're sitting here tonight. So Mr. Everson, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Everson, Travers Enterprise, my company, construction company. I'm a real estate investor. I'm also one of the admins of the Edgewood Family page, a rec football.
Really?
I am. And we do a lot of things in the community. I'm also a rec football coach of years. a youth mentor. I believe in kids.
That's right.
You know, and I was raised by my mother. And you know, that part that I missed and that I wanted from my father, I became from my kids. I'm also a single father of 2. My kids are older now. So that's what it is. And I fell into my purpose, just helping the kids, helping the community, and just keeping it real. A lot of people, they want to show you the fluff or Instagram famous or all this type of stuff. No, I keeps it real. There are good days, there are bad days. And talk about purpose. You always have that end game in play. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, yes, we do fall, we do get hit, but we keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? And so longevity is my goal. Legacy is my goal, to change the ignorance that has been before me in my family, to make different moves and to show people, hey, look, I'm here. I'm far from silver spoon. Nobody's passing me nothing, but I will have that legacy for my children moving forward. I will help as many people as I can. And I do help as many people as I can, because that's my purpose. I believe in a higher power. I believe that it's just 3 things we have to do on earth. And that's 1, you know, find our purpose. And a lot of people struggle with that. 2 is master our purpose.
Yes.
And the last part is really the caveat, because it's to share that purpose. A lot of us
That's a nugget. That's
a lot of us get it, right? It's okay. You're getting it. How many people did you show how to get it? How many people did you help how to get it? How many people did you bring up? I don't care if it's 1. I don't care if it's 100. You know what I'm saying? That's what your purpose is.
That's just your everyday goal in life. And that's great, because that's another reason why I felt as though he and I connected, because we were both out there on that caveat to make sure that we were giving back to our communities, and that we were giving back everything that we were passionate within. He and I started a conversation years before the Business Suites of Brass Mill even came about, and we came on the same platform because we were both concerned about what was going on in our community and why things were being sugarcoated, Miss Kecia. So we were like, wait a minute, in unity there is voice. There is voice. And at that time I was a big voice and he was a big voice. He could have easily said, you know, I'm gonna do my own thing. No, we try to figure out how we could collaborate and bring that into
help the masses.
Help the masses and everything. And that's one of the things here at the Business Suites of Brass Mill, one of the things that I take to heart. And then both of you know this because you both have worked with me. One thing about me, I want to bring as much informative information to my clients as I possibly can. And these two both can speak on it. If it's something that I don't know, and I'm your coach or I'm dealing with you, I will tell you. And both and Everson, no, I'll call you right back with an answer. If I don't call you back, you call me back. So that's what that last nugget, that means a whole lot. Because even though some people can say, yeah, these 3 made it. The first thing they say, you see what they drive and you see where they live, you see what they got. No,
that's because of credit. Okay?
That is because that thing called credit. That thing called credit. That thing called credit helps out a whole lot.
That's like a girl said on my
a whole lot.
My podcast one of the Thursday night when we was talking about the differences in the generations.
Yes.
And my girlfriend said, cash is good, but credit is power.
Credit is, we're going to step to there real quick too. Let's step right there really quick. Credit is power, because if you are running around with cash in your pocket, it means nothing to this entrepreneurship world. Because the first thing, when your cash is all gone, Everson, I want you to speak to this. You have to then turn and use something called business. Even your investors. If you're out here and you're running around and you try to find investors to believe in your purpose, I can guarantee you, if you find an investor, they're going to want more than what you're willing to give, because you can't show them where you have a line of credit or you've even invested in yourself, because cash means nothing in this world, in this entrepreneurship world. But when you go to the bank and you over there APG, I'm throwing some names out there, we don't support APG, or you going to Mariner Finance, the first thing they gonna want to know is what you have.
That's right.
And you can't tell them, well, I got $100,000
under the mattress.
There's a lot of them, right?
It's in a shoebox. Them J's looking nice.
I got one for y'all. You can't tell them that it's in the coffee can out back, so the sniffing cadaver dogs can't smell it. You can't do that. So tonight we want to drop a little jewels on those who are starting their brands too, and who are starting their entrepreneur businesses. I'm telling you right now, Everson and I had a conversation off camera, and I was telling him, you have to have all these things aligned. And one of the things we talked about is you got to make sure that your business plan is in order. You don't make this false business plan and then try to baby step and walk it, because you're going to fall. And then revamping costs too much money. That is a nugget for these guys right here. I'm their business coach. Revamping costs too much money.
Facts.
No one is going to invest. No one's going to keep investing in you if you keep revamping. You got to sit down tonight. If you are thinking about starting a business, sit down tonight. The first thing you do, write it out. You got to write that thing out a couple of times too.
Yeah, you got to change it
because it's not going to go.
You got to keep.
It's not going to go as planned.
Right.
I can tell you right now. I think I was talking to you a couple weeks ago, Everson. You was like, "Man, Doc, I had all this stuff and then it didn't go as planned. This fell through, that fell through." And I was like, "Well, listen, you're supposed to send me over your receipts." He was like, "Doc, I promise you what happened was," and it was like, and I'm looking at him like, I don't want to hear the dog ate your homework, bro. This is what I do for you. Right. This is what you come in a brass mill and pay for. So he kind of was telling me that week was kind of offset. It was kind of crazy. But as we're talking about this, let's get into the real job. Some of our viewers had a couple of questions, and this is the reason why I brought the panel, because some of our viewers had a couple of questions, right?
Let's get it.
One of the questions was, within, as you know, there are consequences that we face in our daily lives as entrepreneurs and business owners. Right. Some of those things affect different situations that we go through in life. But you got to understand that no one's going to love your baby as much as you do, right? No matter, and the reason why I said your baby, because it doesn't matter if you're with a husband, wife, boyfriend, boo, girlfriend, side piece, chick, or whatever, him or whatever you call him, whatever that is. I'm just keeping it real. Whatever that is. Entanglements without the slack, right? This is the energy tonight, people. This is the energy tonight. This is the Doc energy tonight. So within those situations, there are entanglements. But the reason why I'm saying this to you too is no one that baby that you birthed, right? Trevor's Enterprise, Miss Chew, Chat and Chew with Kecia, they're our babies. But sometimes when we have all those names of people that we talked about, there are consequences within those things. So I want, one of the questions that came from one of the viewers is, Doc, even though you built this business, when do you know if you're with your significant other and you're constantly out there grinding, you're building, you're grinding, and they no longer support? They no longer support because Everson said something real great off camera. I'm going to share it. You know what? I don't have enough time to give you the attention that you need. 2, I'm out here doing these long hours, but the same movement comes back into the house because that money and that time is going to be replenished when it comes into the house. Right. So let Everson walk into this real quick, because we both, all of us on this panel have been married at one point in time, have been divorced. And some of us have had those, and I want to say this because we got into a little issue early. I want to say that some people didn't see that this was going to happen. Yeah. So elaborate a little bit.
So let me jump into that,
please.
From my perspective, yes, marriage has been tough. It's tough to deal with entrepreneur. I don't think tough. I think it takes a certain understanding, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Either you deal with a busy woman or busy man, or you deal with a broke one. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's that. I mean, that
don't work for me.
Hey, look.
Say broke. I would say somebody that's okay.
Listen, I'm going to claim my portion and go down this lane, and these are my opinions and my feelings only. So what I'm saying is,
because broke is a word.
I mean, all I'm saying is it's more. It's more. I'm not talking dollar amounts. Okay. I'm talking mindset more so. Okay, because if you have the mindset, I always say money ain't nothing. It's not. I always take money out of the equations because it makes you think different, right? And that's a big thing for me, right? So back to the understanding, the entrepreneurship. It's a lot of work. There's no easy button. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. It's a lot of nights. It's a lot of dark days. It's a lot of how I'm gonna figure this out because I gotta figure it out. I don't have a choice. You understand what I'm saying? Facts. I got people dependent on me. Facts. I got people needing me. Right. You know what I'm saying? This ain't just me no more.
Right. Absolutely.
So the caveat that I had earlier was, and I believe in a higher power, so there's 3 things that we have to do. And the first thing is to find our gift. Some people don't find it. They keep playing around, or they might stay stagnant in a job thinking they're going to retire and live off of Social Security when they get done and be happy about that. Some people are. Some people are. Some people are. You know
you're
what I'm
right
saying?
about that.
We need
Yes.
people like that. You understand? Otherwise, everybody can't be an entrepreneur. Everybody's not made to be an
It's
entrepreneur.
It's for the
You understand what I'm
fittest of the
saying?
beast.
And that's real. When you take that self-analyzation, like, is this really for me? I thought it was, but then nah, that ain't. I'd rather go work. Okay. Some
That's
people,
right.
hey,
That's right.
that's cool, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely
But when you're gonna be an entrepreneur, you focus on that and you move towards that. And when you do that, there is no easy button. You got to go through those dark days. You got to go through. You have those days like, whoa, did I really do the right thing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, am I built for this? I gotta look at myself like, hold up. You know what I'm saying? But you push through, and no matter what you go through, you always find a way, because that's your nature, right? That's why you are that entrepreneur, because you don't want to hear problems. All you care about is solutions.
That's right.
I'll take all the problems, but at the end of the day, I got to figure out solutions moving forward. And sometimes people don't understand that. The more you take on, the busier you get.
That's right.
And then I feel, okay, that you have to communicate, right? Because both parties have to be on the same page. It might have been one thing in the beginning, right? But now that's multiplied. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot more things going on right now. So everybody kind of got to, step up and do their part. And I feel it's important to communicate and have that understanding on the goals and expectations of the movement, because it's a combined movement, whether it be wife, husband, girlfriend. I don't know about this. I don't know about the side pieces on the entanglements, whatever, but whatever you want to put the title on it, you know what I'm saying?
Whatever title it is.
Right. Whatever. It has to align. You know what I'm saying? And you can't explain that to people that don't understand that. You understand it?
I get it.
You might be bragging, you might be this, you might be that, but they're not going to understand.
They're not going to understand.
You have to have that understanding.
And let me jump in, and then Ms. Kecia, you jump in, please, behind me. The problem with that that alignment is this: there may be times where you just were never compatible. There may be times where you wanted more out of it than what they did. There may be times where there's a jealousy thing. There may be times where you gifted that baby and you love that baby more than you loved and cradled that marriage. But what I can tell you is, when I literally walk into the business, I walked into the business as saying, hey, you know what? This is a great thing. This is what I want to do. I know my purpose. I always wanted it to be. And one thing Everson said to me earlier, I always wanted it to be a family driven type thing. And he said, sometimes you can't work with family. Sometimes you got to cut them off. So I always wanted it to be a growth thing for my legacy, for my children. But one thing that I can tell you is, within creating my purpose, if that thing doesn't align, we have to go back. And it's okay to go back to the drawing board, because one of the things that we talked about was this entrepreneurship can be like a GPS. And it can guide you down the right road for, what do you say, Everson?
Hey, as long focus on the end game. If you don't plug that destination in, you never know where you're going to go. But when you plug that final destination in and focus. And that's one of my key reroute. That's one of my key words, as Everson keeps saying, focus. That's one of my key words that I use. And I use it all the time for everybody that puts their love. I say, stay focused, because any distraction that comes about can cost you everything you built. So you have to stay focused. But being in that marriage, if it's not aligned, and even if you're with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, it has to be in line, and you have to make sure that you know each other's expectations. Hey, baby, guess what? It might be a long night. You already knew this going in. You already knew it going in. And if you didn't know it going in, after a while, you're going to learn it.
You know what I'm saying?
What you think, Ms. Kecia?
So my take on it is this. My opinion.
Yes, ma'am.
This.
Here we go.
So I look at it this way. Like you and I talked about when we talked about your purpose on my show.
Yes.
It's like you're on that Damascus. It's not like you are on that Damascus road. That's your Damascus road journey. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't communicate, both of you were right. Communication is key when you're getting into a relationship before your dreams or your purpose comes to fruition. So communication is key. They need to know what your expectations are, because everybody is not supposed to go with you to the top. You know, some people, they're just in your lives for seasons, you
Mhm.
know, and there'll be some good seasons and there'll be some bad seasons. But at the end of the day, you got to keep on that road until you get to that end state. The end state is your purpose, whatever you're working towards.
Yes.
Now, is it a bad thing to get halfway there and you realize, okay, we're not equally yoked? It's not a bad thing, because that was their season in your life.
Mm-hmm.
That was, you know, your season in their
Mhm.
life, you know, so
Absolutely.
everybody
Absolutely.
is, you know, moving on to the next season. Some people you can go through rough times with and they will go with you to the next season, because that's just a learning,
Mhm.
a stepping stone on your path. But you gotta communicate those things at the beginning, you know, and you have to have an understanding that everybody is not supposed to go with you to the top. And you know what's so crazy? Me and my daughter had a conversation this morning. They just don't. No matter how much you love them, but it doesn't change how you feel about them, folks. It don't change. You're just in different spaces. You know, I have friends, I have family members who do not think the way that I think, who don't, you know, agree with the, you know, like, it irritates the piss out of me. But when somebody said, "Ooh, your little podcast,"
Oh yes.
Ain't no little nothing about nothing. I do.
Somebody hit me with that a couple weeks ago.
Ain't nothing little about nothing I do.
Listen,
Take that out your mouth.
Say it again, sir. You can take that little.
You take
you
that
can
little
that
out your
word
mouth.
right out your mouth, because you don't know what I'm operating and moving with. Okay, somebody told me, "Well, you only got a little bit of followers, but come to Brass Mill and see what them chings is going on. Take them bags to the bank. Take them bags to the bank.
Your little podcast, your little business, your little this, your little that." I just chuckle now.
But you never quit your day job, right?
I just chuckle now. It's cute to me when people say that.
Your little podcast,
because they're really telling you what they really feel about you.
Yeah, that's okay.
But I feel it's more people than those are just the ones that had the ability to speak up like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
It's okay.
Listen, the bigger we get, the better we get. It's good. It's just going to grow. It's sad that our society is that way, and we can't truly. Most people can't truly support someone doing their thing.
Absolutely.
You talk about going to the club, 1 million likes on social media. Everybody talk about it. Share it. You talk about some business stuff.
Bank account. Have you ever sat down at a table with someone that thought they knew business, and you're sitting there and you're like, dude, ma'am, you are furthest from it. Changing your mindset in this game is something so rhetoric, because now I'm going to say this to Everson, because he and I work together. I remember there was a couple of times he and I didn't jive on the same page, but what we did was we changed our mindset. You know, if somebody's out there and they're willing to help you, but if you're in that stagnant place where you think you know everything and you don't want to listen, and you come to that person as for a business coach advice, and you see that person, now listen, you see that person is out here getting it, and you see she didn't help 5, 10, 20 other people. Why wouldn't she get it for you? But the only thing about it is you have to change your mindset, because everything you walk into my office with, and Everson to tell you, I got that poor thing. I tore his stuff all up. He was sitting there like that. He came. Listen. He came in ready. I got this for you, Doc. He was one of the best organized people. He had his stuff all lined up. I'm sitting there and I'm listening to him and I'm shaking my head. I said, "No, sir, you're not ready. This is not what you need." And me and him went for it. Even though we were friends, and we still friends, we still copacetic. I can still call him on any of his numbers. He's gonna pick up for Doc. You know what he says? "Hey, Doc. Good morning, Doc." But do you understand what I'm saying? When you have to change your mindset,
and that goes,
well, you're not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
That goes back to what Everson was saying about it's not about dollars and cents. You have to change your mindset, and you have to think wealthy thoughts.
That's right.
Because wealth is not money. Wealth is a mindset. So if you don't change your mindset to a wealthy mindset, and you still have a poor man's mindset, and you're in a business, if you look, you're not making any money.
So let me add to that.
I want him to justify. I want you to chime in,
because
what you said earlier made a lot of sense. Please chime.
You gotta change your mindset, because if you go into entrepreneurship business and say you have a hot item, Like, so when you get out there, you may be one of the lucky ones, and you making money just like that. If you don't,
I never had it like that, but yeah.
Well, me neither. But great example, Super Scent, the girl who sells on IG.
Oh yes.
And she made like $1 million in like 3 minutes. But she had to change, and she speaks about it all the time.
She had to change her mindset.
She had to see people who was supposed to go with her and who wasn't supposed to go with her. And guess what? She continues to make millions after millions after millions
because she cut the people that weren't supposed to go.
Well, that's important, and I feel the biggest caveat in that is vulnerability.
That too,
right? Because at certain levels, we think, hey, we can't tell nobody this, and we can't do this, and we can't do that, because then they're gonna know, and then yada yada yada. We gotta keep it a secret, right? But the more vulnerable you are to the right circle, right, the better things seem. And
them only quality people.
You have to remember that at the end of the day, this is the road that you chose. So a lot of times it's going to be lonely because people aren't going to have that same type of vision, right?
Yes.
You can't have these conversations with people that don't understand, because now you bragging. Oh, look at him. Look at her. She this, she that. Oh, driving this, driving that, she did. No, it's not about that. It's not about that. It's about growth.
Let me tell you something, Everson. Something happened to me just this week where I was speaking to someone, and I wasn't trying to be braggadocious, but what I was trying to say was, this is where I started, and I had to change my mindset to get where I am. It's oh, well, you miss rich bags, you this, you that, but yet you're here asking me for my help.
But you know what?
But that's not even how the story went.
The wrong type of people. They always going to talk.
And you know what?
They always going to talk.
And maybe he's the wrong type of people, because anybody that questions, if I'm coming to you, Everson, and I said, matter of fact, I'm going to use him again. I needed something done in my building. I didn't know how to properly get it done. And I called him. He was like, Doc, I got you, because that's my thing. And one of the things you said is, that's what I do.
Right.
So I trusted in what you were going to do, and you got the job done. You were in an element that I knew nothing about.
Right.
But the thing about it is, I could have questioned you. Everson, why that man up in my ceiling? That. And when I first walked in, I said, Everson, that square ain't even, it's not even straight. He said, Doc, we got this. But at the end of the work process, the fan was put up there so nice and neat. But if I'd have shot off my mouth, I would have stomped my own toe, which was supposed to be 10 toes down.
Right.
You have to understand, it's not that we know more than you.
Right.
You got to give that person that opportunity to know. If they know what they're talking about, you got to give that person the opportunity to help you.
That comes back to vulnerability.
Yes.
Right. Because you have to be vulnerable to that person that now you have to rely trust in them, and something that you don't know.
Let me say this thing, because he's a man on a show, and he's one of my favorite people. There is a stigma, and I want to let the elephant out the room. Just because you're a man and you show vulnerability, and I'm going to use me and you because I'm your business coach, and you come to a point where you have to show me some vulnerability, does that take away from anything?
No, listen, and let me explain that, because that I don't know why people talk about that. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't take anything away from me as a man, because listen, in order for me to take it to this next level, I have to be honest. I have to be open, because I want a different level. The way I've been doing it is not working. You know
Say that again.
I want those
Please
super lines of credit
again.
that I could just walk in, Mr. Travers, here's your $500,000
And I
for
want
these
you
next
to know
couple
he's
flips.
well on his way.
You know what I'm saying?
And a glass of champagne.
Right.
And I want you to know he's well on his way.
You can't do that. You cannot. I don't ever use that word can't, but you can't do that if you don't make those type of moves. You have to take a self-assessment.
Yes.
Okay.
Please
Where
take
am I going? Where am I
Yes.
going? And this end game is going to take me doing some things that are going to make me feel real uncomfortable.
Yes.
You understand?
That
Y'all looking at my
uncomfortable
finances.
piece.
Y'all seeing what I spend. Y'all know y'all know this. Y'all got all my receipts. Y'all got all my bookwork. Y'all know everything about me on paper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Who am I fooling? But I'm ready to go to that next level. I took myself as far as I can take myself. You know what I'm saying? Now I analyze my circle and brought in people that are doing it a lot bigger than me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I look up to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I use them as motivation, not no type of hate and nothing like that. Like, oh, wow, you're doing big thing. Congratulate those.
Right.
I see my fellow entrepreneur doing that. Congratulations. Stop
and
hating.
he is constantly on his page. And the thing about Miss Kecia, he is constantly on his page congratulating people. But I know, and I'm again elephant out the room, and he is my, and I call him a friend and a good friend. And one of those straight friends is gonna put me in my place when I'm wrong and bring me in and give me a hug when I need it. But one of the things I said to him when he first came in, listen, we closed the door. I said, listen, if you want me to help you, we got to be copacetic with each other. We got to be honest, and we have to trust each other. I said, he said, you know what, Doc, I'm tired of doing it my way because I'm not getting anywhere my way. But I see what you're doing. I see the moves you're making. And that at that point, Kecia, he made that choice to trust us. And he has done nothing but elevate ever since. You can, if you know you out there and you know your business isn't doing good, stop standing on your own platform with a bullhorn, trying to make people buy stuff that they don't want to buy. Stop using your fan club to support you. Let's talk about that. You said something about those likes and all this and that. I don't care about likes.
They don't bring no money in.
They don't bring not a dime of money. I remember when I first got on Facebook, Miss Kecia, I was like, I put a post, I'm like, man, why only 10 people like it? I would get emotionally scarred by that, Everson. I would get like, well, I know what I'm saying is right. But the next day I have 5 or 6 calls on my phone with people looking to need my help and how we can elevate.
Oh, they all watching. You know what I'm saying? They all watching.
They all watching.
You know what I mean?
But another thing that I found, like with my t-shirt business, so most of the people that make purchases are people that I don't know.
Absolutely.
You know, people that I don't know.
What's crazy?
8% of my support from people I don't know.
That's crazy because today's society, not just like she said, 90% of business from people you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So friends and family, they
But you don't even want to talk about what you do.
And the thing about it is, I keep telling people that you have, if you have a fan base, elevate yourself from them, because in this line of business and knowing your purpose, I'm telling you, the first thing with being successful is to change your mindset on everything that you're doing. If it didn't work for you in the first 90 days, it's not going to work, and you need to go back and change your mindset. One nugget right there to being successful. Number 2, only quality people are allowed in your space.
That's a big one. So my biggest thing, right, for me is I don't let anyone interrupt my zen anymore.
Love it. We talked about that.
And my biggest thing is, you know, I don't argue. I don't raise my voice. Anybody that makes me feel a certain type of way, I just cut them off. My cutoff game is so strong right now. That's why
I am learning that. Listen, thank you. He said that's why he by himself.
I mean, that's just real though. I don't mean that. I don't mean that in any type of disrespectful,
I love it
type
because
of way.
One of the things
that's your truth.
That's your
right.
truth.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So one of the things we talked about when I was going through a situation and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with the business we Brass Mill, was I going to get a partner? Was I going to? One of the things he came to me and said, Doc, your cutoff game, sis. And he said, sis, has to be better than what you putting out there. Because some of these people don't even deserve to be in your space. They don't deserve to be in your presence. Your exit strategy, sis. And let me tell you something, he's dope with it. He's dope with it because I've seen him in action where he said, listen, I'll cut so-and-so off. I seen him go dap on, hey, bro, how you doing? But I'm going to keep it right moving. I'm going to keep it right moving.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I seen it. And you know what made me mad? Because I was like, I want to do that. Without an attitude.
It just changes.
There's no need. You can't interrupt my zen no more. You know what I mean?
Because I understand that my focus is different from yours. And
that's cool. That's okay.
Like, that's cool. Like, I'm all right with it.
Right.
You know, I'm like, bro, we still cool. But when it's time to get this money, I'm gonna holler at y'all because I'm over here in my bedroom, my little 1-bedroom that I'm in. Yes, honey, but that's all right. We ain't gonna always be in the room 1 bedroom.
We know you got that day. She got a house being built from
a couple houses over here.
She got a couple
being
houses
modest, right?
She in a 1-bedroom right now.
One
her house is being built.
I'm just in one. And I'm at my computer. Kecia, what you doing? How you doing, shit? And I'm working. I'm hustling. I'm revamping. I'm coming up with the next big idea. It's only a small amount of people that I share my business thoughts with. And
you know what? The thing about it is when you have somebody, Everson, in your corner that's willing to fight as hard as you are, stop taking that for granted.
And I totally agree with that.
Stop.
At the end of the day, it's not just in the beginning and the ends where it's too late. That communication key is important the whole time. This is my vision. Let me explain the vision. And one thing I've seen going around a little bit now is the whole thing with what was it, Cam Newton saying women don't know how to be submissive or something like that.
Yes, talk about it, sir.
On that flip side of things,
yes,
a woman will be submissive if the right man leads the way.
You know
what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, and
that's from a man.
Come do it again.
That's just a buck.
Come do it again. Come do it again.
That's like keeping it a whole.
Come do it again.
That's real.
Because that submissive thing is crazy. Come do it again.
But it's real because
come do it again, sir.
And that
you got all my attention.
That takes the man to, hey, look, am I leading the right way? And the biggest thing, I'll say me, right? Like, you know, I claim I know how to lead, but obviously I'm not communicating something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe I don't know how to communicate that yet. And I'm still working on that. I'm still a work in progress.
But that goes back to that.
You know what I'm saying? I expect you to understand just by seeing, right?
Exactly.
Seeing the movement, seeing the growth. But at the end of the day, I didn't have that conversation with you.
I'm assuming
that you understand, but you don't.
Assuming gonna get you in trouble every time. Assuming gets you in trouble every time. Sure, come with it. Come with it.
For the right woman who understands what submission is, she's gonna come to you.
Period.
Because we in this together.
Period.
So if I see that you are wavering, like you need an alignment, hey babe, come here. We need to sit down and we need to talk.
That's that conversation. That's that communication.
Okay.
That's that communication.
I'm gonna play into this.
He's going in two different directions, and I need us to come together.
I'm gonna play into this. And I'm going to keep it real 100. Your approach to how you come into it has to be right too. Okay. So if I come to you and say, hey, I see where you're wavering. Don't take that as a force of criticism. Don't take that as, because if we in this together and I love you the way I say I love you, then I don't want any hurt, harm, or danger to come to you. Right. And guess what? Your significant other is going to see it before everyone else sees it. Right. So don't come along. If I say, you know what, you know what, I've been watching your post all day because you know us as entrepreneurs, we supposed to post 3 times a day. We supposed to we supposed to say encouraging things in the morning, and us 3 are constantly on it. Y'all be beating me so on this. Y'all be making me mad.
The morning walks.
Yeah, the morning walks. I be thinking to myself, walk one for me, walk one for me. But yeah, before I'm even out of the bed, I'm like, jeez. I said, then I'm looking over the clock at 6:10. He's texting me something. I'm like, boy, sit down. But anyway, I'm his coach. He said, wait a minute, she's supposed to be on clock hours like me. But one of the things that I can tell you is, if you go to your significant other or your entanglement or whatever you want to call them, and you say, hey babe, listen, I'm watching for you. I'm your biggest cheerleader. I'm not the enemy, but you might want to change the wording in this. You might want to change this, or you might want to change that. It's all about the approach that you bring. But at the end of the day, if you keep approaching that person and you're trying to do the best you can for him or her, and they don't respect that, where do you go with it after that?
So
you keep moving.
So let me say, you said approach, right? I'm known to speak freely 100% of the time. And a lot of people, you know, might not understand that. Okay. And this goes in business, life, relationships, right? Expressing communication, like if I talk a lot or say this, it's not that I'm complaining all the time. It's just that communication is a one-way street. You know what I'm saying? You might choose to hold that information and not say, hey, look, this bothers me. I see this or whatever. You might not communicate that, but I will. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm nagging. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm a bad person.
But
like you calling me all these, like that's one of the things I wanted. We talked about.
You said approach.
That's one of the things I want to talk about, because if I come to you and say, hey, babe, this, because you don't want to hear it, or you don't want to change your mindset. Now I'm nagging you. Now I'm bragging about this, or now I want 50% of your business. Or I want this and I want that. What?
Sip my tea.
What? Sip your tea on that. Sip your tea on that. But now I want something from you, because I'm asking you to change your mindset. I'm asking you to do a couple things, and now you so stuck on yourself that you're not even trying to hear it, but you're not trying to hear it from the person that you laying with, from the person you creeping with, from the person you doing whatever with.
What? But that goes.
What is wrong?
That's because of one or two things.
Tell me about what I'm doing.
One,
tell me what's going on.
You were unequally yoked from the beginning.
Thank you.
That's
But
one.
how do you realize that after you got into it?
Well,
I don't believe
falling.
that.
That's like falling.
I don't believe it. I believe that there was a reason for that to happen in the beginning, right? And in life, it's not that you change, you grow.
Right.
Yes.
And all these circumstances, all these situations have made you a better person. So it's no type of regret.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That you was just growing one way and the other person grew the other way.
That means you were unequally yoked.
But
if you were yoked together, you'd be going together.
The biggest thing is the communication, right? You had said approach. Because it's true.
But I'm communicating.
I'm gonna go for me, right? I'm gonna go for me, right?
Come
I'm
for
gonna go for me. So I might just bluntly say it, and it might seem kind of rude or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But I could have said it. I could have said the same thing another way.
Right.
Another way, and still had the same point, right?
But I've been told that a time or two.
At the end of the day, I feel like this. You know, when you get married before God, right? You become one. Y'all know the whole thing with the braid, right? You become one. You, him, and God. Well, me, him, and God. I'm saying you. I don't know what you got going on there.
You know?
Nothing.
He said nothing. I'm not doing it with y'all two tonight. Not doing it.
But for real, you know, it's you, your person, and God, right? You become one, right? So it's if that is the one that God put you with and you're equally yoked, it's none of that. We're gonna find our way back like magnets. You might pull us apart, but we're gonna find our way back. If we can't find our way back, that means that we were not destined to be together in the first place. Our season is over. You go over here, I'll go over here, and it won't be no harm done. We just wasn't intended to go to the next season together, or our next seasons may be different and not in line together. We're both on our Damascus road, still working towards our purpose. Mine's just went right, and yours went left, and that's okay. It got to be okay with you, because if you're following your purpose, not someone else's, you're following your purpose. It has to be okay, because you ask God, give me direction. God, give me understanding. Take me where it is that you would have me to go to do what you want me to do. So if he tell you to go right, you better kill your ass right.
Well,
and if that means you ain't going with me, see you later.
Come with it, Everson, because I know you're sitting there, you're holding it. You're sitting there, you're holding it. I want to hear it.
Christmas.
I feel communication can still be key. You know what I'm saying? I think because even if it's not perfect in the beginning, quote unquote, right? I feel like something you can work on. It's not the grass is greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it at. You know what I'm saying? And it grows the more water that you give it. But
I like that. I like that.
How much water is the camel going to take before, you know what I'm saying? Camel has to fucking lay down. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to.
No, this is real. This is 100 today.
We're saying the same thing two different ways.
I think as I'm sitting here listening,
we're saying
I hear you. I hear you both saying that, and that's one of the things I wanted to
when
chime
it's
in.
Over, it's over. It's okay.
But I feel it's still communication at the end of the day, because
it
didn't have to be over. It could have been. The conversations could have been different.
There could be some
the
change
movements
about
could have been different.
There could be some change
because there was something in the beginning that connected you two together.
That drew you two together.
And that's what I said. When you're equally yoked, it's like magnets. Something may pull you apart, but when you communicate, it's going to draw you back together.
There's no,
and then we're going to go forward.
Okay, there's no perfect relationship. There's
no
perfect woman. There's no perfect
man.
No perfect
man.
And that all.
I cannot with her, because that's not. We won't let her have that tonight. But one of the things that
God is just saving me for the right man.
Girl, I hope he come along. But anyway, let me say this to you. I had just got a text message from a friend of mine named Jennifer. She said that hers started where her and a gentleman were seeing one another. And he, and you know, and he, it didn't start off where they were even in any type of partnership or whatever, but she was trying to grow her brand. And she, you know, she was with him, and they were together until she realized that, you know, he was a hindrance. You know, he was a hindrance to everything that she had going on. But my concern is this. Even let's take Jennifer and use a male. You know, if you have a business and you're getting ready to create this business, and this is a question for you, Everson, and you're getting ready to create this business, and you're dating someone, and that someone wants to put in put in the work with you. They're like, yeah, let me put in the work with you. Let me help you. Let me try to help you grow what you got going on. And one of the things that I like about you with that day that we first came to the table to do your business, you were honest. When you get involved in it and you're not honest, because a lot of people are out here selling and doing things and making themselves look bigger than what they are, but behind closed doors, they're not legit.
Right.
So
Right.
so as that was happening, she realized that he wasn't legit. But let me tell you what she tried to do. She tried to help him. Right. But he was so stuck in his mindset. So when do you know enough's enough and you walk away and say, you know what, that's his thing. But does that end the relationship or does that end the business aspect of you trying to help him?
Okay, for me,
Just asking.
this just for Kecia.
Kecia.
If you can't be an asset to me,
Mhm.
like I'm being an asset to you,
Mhm.
then it's better that we'll be friends. And I'm okay with that.
Mm.
I'm like you. My cutoff game, we good.
Everson, what you think?
You still there? We friends. Got it. Because I'm still moving forward and I don't want to take dead weight. If you done already showed me that
Who you are.
I mean, I'm
on
a
many
firm-
different occasions.
I'm a firm believer. When somebody show you who they are, believe them the first time, okay?
You seen the warning
You know what I'm
signs.
saying?
There
A target
man.
his stripes. So I'm like, it's okay.
Remember, it becomes toxic. It becomes
Yeah.
toxic.
I feel that a lot of people in society feels things have to be a certain type of way.
Okay.
They don't.
It doesn't.
Every
You're
single
right.
person has a different situation.
Right.
Every single person is going to communicate different. Every single person is going to have a different set of rules and things they accept and don't accept. Now, the question is, can those things align with you and your special person?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And be consistent, because if
Right.
they align in the beginning, that's the connection that brought you together.
There
Now,
you go.
whether it faded or whether it totally disappeared, that was on you to communicate.
Yes.
You to have that conversation before things
Yes.
started getting too far.
Right.
And
Yes.
sometimes as entrepreneurs, we get too busy to even really pay
We
attention.
do.
We
We
moving
do.
so fast.
Right.
We doing all these
We
other
doing
things
all
over
this
here.
stuff.
We don't
Just going
back
on.
up.
Stuff,
We all
yeah.
in the
But
flow,
it's
like-
not. I'm not sitting here blaming anybody. I
Right.
feel the street goes both ways.
Right.
It's us as
Right.
entrepreneurs to see when things start to
slow
happen
down,
like that.
yes,
Like,
to
hey,
stop.
hold
So
up.
when do you stop? Okay, so within this, there is toxicity in this. So then it comes to your little podcast. Then it comes to, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Or if you was going to do X, Y, and Z for me, you would have already done it for me. But when somebody starts seeing you move different, I pull everything back.
Well, yeah, when you
I pull
start-
everything back. When you start the name calling,
But you
Everson,
can't
the
take
belittling,
that person.
and all that crazy stuff.
Mhm.
But yet I'm supposed to be that everything to you.
Mhm.
For real, shorty.
Mhm.
I took a page out of your book.
Mhm.
My exit strategy better be on cue.
Right, right.
Because if that person is in that relationship with you and they started that relationship with you and they're finding out little by little that you not all the way legit, but they still want to stay and help you. But then understand this person has more. And they willing to share it with you. Yo, you don't get that too often.
Right.
Right.
Hey,
You right.
hey,
You don't get
hey.
that too often.
That's a self thing, like
Right.
Everson
That's some
said,
selfish
You
mess.
gotta
Right.
be, you gotta, as a man, as a woman, you gotta do that self-evaluation and
Mhm.
say, hold
Is
up.
is that person
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I got a good
But you know
thing.
what? Let me say this because Everson
What can I do to help
Everson
her or
is-
help him?
Everson-
Step out of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yes. Everson is the man tonight on the panel. And the reason why I have him on this panel is because he keeps it all the way 100. He always has. So if you're in that, and this is coming from a young lady, she was in it to help him. But then it became to where it was toxic she's not worried. She's not worried about my feelings, and she's trying to critique me. And she said she was going to help me.
Mhm.
But then what my thing is when she pulled back. When she pulled back because she felt like, why am I helping someone that won't change their mindset? Yes, that's his business, but I'm helping you. When is it? When is it time? Because a lot of red flags that went out there.
Well, that's the point. You just answered your own.
I'm just saying, I wanted to hear that.
The first time that you feel that way, because
Yeah.
you were so comfortable in allowing that to happen.
That comfortability,
You
man.
seen it.
Yeah.
You seen it, but you
Yeah.
didn't want to say nothing because
I
you
didn't.
busy. You didn't
Yeah.
want to change
Well,
nothing.
I
You was
understand.
inside your comfort zone
I
and
was,
didn't want to.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Not just that, you care about the person and you don't want to think, well, dang, I done did this and I done did that, and you
And
can't
even-
appreciate
But see
the
that
person.
hey, that
I was just about to
appreciation,
say
right?
that.
Here's
I was gonna
the
say
biggest
that.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Back to communication.
Back to communication.
Back to communication, because if that was communicated.
So Everson, what
would've been a
do you
different
think? What do you
situation.
think when that person is to that point where they don't want to listen and they're not listening to your line of communication, but yet they still want to be a part of you. They still want to be a part of your life, but yet you're like, you know what? I know that person's going through a rough time right now, because entrepreneurship can be some, like you said earlier. There's some dark nights in this thing,
maybe they
man.
have a different role.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe they're about to play a different role. Not that we got to completely,
Get rid of 'em.
we cut them, right? You know what I'm saying? Because it didn't work. We might want it so bad and try to force things to work. It's not made for us. You know what I'm saying? And we started to see that, regardless of how short or how long that is, we've seen that. But that doesn't mean that, we don't have another connection at another point. Maybe it's a business we start up down the road when.
Remember
when
this person is in a business and she's trying to help them.
But here's the thing:
I
you
think
can't help
that's
somebody that don't want to help themselves. You can't force
Yeah.
that.
And
You can't force that.
And check this out: if they gonna put you in jail, baby, they already a loss.
It's on mindset,
Yes,
right?
it's
Not
already
everybody
a
thinks
loss.
the same. Entrepreneurs think different, right?
Right,
We think investments. We think, okay, if
Yeah.
we're about to spend, $50,000, how much is that gonna make me?
Right.
Not oh my God, I'll just spend $50K. No, I
How
spent
much
this
am I gonna
and
get
I'm gonna
for
get this
this,
back
right?
in
Thank
this,
you
and
so
this is gonna be the
much.
profit.
Thank
It's
you
a
so
different
much.
I'm gonna get my
mindset.
50,000.
So
Mindset.
let me ask you this. Even though she's in this entanglement, I'm gonna call it entanglement because I don't want to call it that boo thing no more, because I think Everson stepped all over that one. And she's saying to herself, listen, I have the money to invest with you, but you can't keep doing these toxic things. Even though you're at a rough spot in your business right now, you're gonna need someone. And one of the things I explained to her was this: be careful doing this, because you can't have a 50-50 partner and also investors, because it's only 100 on the table.
Right.
You got to be careful doing that. So if you don't want the 50-50 partnership because you're scared that she's going to want something out of it at the end of the day, because really she shouldn't want anything out of it at the end of the day if you two are going to grow and you're going to grow together. But another thing,
50-50 doesn't mean you both have to do the same type of work.
absolutely,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
one of the things that I was trying to say.
Do your work. Like, you might be the grind all, the go out there, get it for
Yes.
the
That
relationship,
doesn't
get her
take
the new
anything
business
from the
started.
business.
But what is that person's role in that situation? Okay,
That's
so
where communication comes.
period.
That's where
Period.
communication comes. And another thing about this thing is number two, I don't, me personally, I've been in this business thing for a while, and y'all know, and I listen, I'm so blessed. I want to put that out there too, because we're going to be going soon, but I'm so blessed to have the knowledge to share what I know. And these two know that I will share every bit of knowledge that I have and won't charge you a dollar nor a dime. I just want to see you win in this thing, right? Somebody else took that opportunity and that chance on me, and they showed me everything. So I want to keep feeding, right? So I keep trying to tell these people, it's not a whole lot of difference between that investor and that 50-50, because an investor can take you all the way to the top, right? And still want the same expectations that a 50-50 partner is. But catch this nugget, y'all. That person was there, willing, ready, and able for work. That is Maryland's unemployment slogan. But if that person was there and ready to give you everything that you needed, stop complaining and change your mindset. Because guess what? If that person can say, Everson, I'm going to give you $30,000 tomorrow to get done what you need to get done, but you got to change your mindset. I'm not going to keep giving to you if you don't want to change your mindset. So guess what? If that person shows me some pullback, my exit strategy is all over that. And then I'm going to tell you right now, because me and you've been friends for a long time. I don't know if I'm going to have that friendship with you.
Right.
I don't know if I'm going to have that friendship with you.
Never.
Especially when you had me, Everson, when you had me at the door and I was about to willingly just give this to you, because let me tell you why. One, because I believed in your dream. When you find somebody that believes in what you believe in, that's a win right there.
And I think that's very important.
Yes.
I think as entrepreneurs, at sometimes maybe we do settle. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we do. Maybe we don't, take the true time that I can't say that we don't have, because everybody has 24 hours in a day, and you set priority what you want to be a priority that day.
Yes, you do.
So I don't want to hear you ain't got no time. No, it just wasn't a big enough priority that day.
And another thing I think too, and I want y'all to keep chiming in. The energy is fantastic, and it's allowing these questions that have been given to me to be answered by not only myself but validated people who are out here in these streets getting it big. And what we're putting in the work too, right? You if you have someone that's in your corner right now that's willing to give you what you need, why go out and look for that investor?
Hey,
why go look for an investor when truly and Benita, thank you. This is a great support team that I have here right now, and it's not about a preaching moment; it's about a testimony moment, right? When you have that person right in your corner, because I know as a woman, I'm gonna speak for myself. I know a lot of men that say, you know what? If I had someone of her caliber, man, let's be this powerhouse team.
And that's what
let's be this powerhouse.
Let me get that caveat though.
Come get it. And the only reason I said it because I knew Everson was gonna come. The only reason I said it because I knew he was gonna come. Come on, Everson.
But that's in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And everything is fine and dandy in that honeymoon period. But then when y'all start getting into the deep inner workings of each other and inner workings of yourselves, and now it's a different alignment, right? Like, oh, well, maybe that was just infatuation in the beginning, because now that I'm truly looking and truly digging deep, I don't know exactly what this is, but it's not the same that I thought.
You know what?
Did you really understand the assignment, basically?
Right.
Thank you.
And like I said, everybody thinks the grass is green on the other side. It's not.
It's not. Because when it's time for you to put 10 toes down and do the work, right? You can sit up all day with your toes up in the air and think things and oh, I want to do this and I want to do that. But when it comes down, and you two were in the military, I was not. And thank you both for your service. Your service is always rendered something deep and dear to me, because without you guys, there may not even been this generation.
Right.
I want to say that. And I want to put that out there. Their service was very commendable. But when you put your boots on, my boots lace up just like your boots, bro. Right. And listen, my flair is no different than your flair. But what I can tell you is my ambition and my goal and my alignment may be different. But if I come to you and I say, hey, we can do this alignment together, I just need you to change your mindset and hear me. Take a couple days and walk away. And what did you say, Everson? Look and search inside yourself. Right. Because first of all, it's not a lot of Black women and men that are out here that are powerhouse couples, and then and we have to stick together, right? Because if somebody's coming to you saying, I'm willing to invest this in you, all thing you got to do is you can't bring this toxicity with you.
But at the end of the day, you gotta not look at the long run. You gotta look at the hard work, the long nights, the missing him or her next to you.
That's
missing
true.
Dinner.
That's
missing
true.
Birthdays or whatever. Only being able to spend a few hours instead of taking you out to dinner and giving you all these presents like we did in the honeymoon phase, because we trying to get to
now it's time to work.
You know what I'm saying? You trying to get after it. Let's get after it together. I'm going and you coming.
Let me ask you this.
And I'm coming. But when we get to that end state, baby, it's all.
Let me ask you this. Do you go in? Let me ask you this. Because you two are dealing with each other and you see the bigger picture. One of the questions that Donna had asked me, do you go in with, is it wrong to go in with a contract and say, hey, this is what you expect from me? Well, you're just in a hunt. Wait a minute, but you're just
contract?
in a hunt.
You talking about prenups?
I'm not talking prenups. I'm not.
You talking about dating?
Right.
Okay, listen, somebody asked this.
We need a friend contract.
Listen,
okay, so
somebody asked this. Now wait. Somebody wait.
About her change.
Wait. Somebody asked this.
Shots fired.
Shots fired big. And this was one of the reasons why. This is one of the reasons why I look back like what? And I think I was talking to you about this a little bit. She's this is the honeymoon phase for her, but she sees that this guy has this business and is booming, but he's just a little down right now. He's in the dumps right now. So she wants to help him. She has everything he needs to help him. Right. So everything was cool. And then she said, well, can I be a 50-50 partner in your business? He ran from that because he looked at it as though, wait a minute, Donna, you got all this money. What do you want out of my business? Donna turned and told him, if we're going to be together, then we both grow this thing.
But see, right there.
And the first thing he said, but wait a minute, let me hold up. And
he showed her who he was.
And
she's a runner. She's a track star.
And she should.
Out of there. out of there. Hey,
So you
look,
said Donna
don't-
should have rolled
hey,
out
if-
quick.
hey,
That was he told
Donna, get out.
But
in
hey,
other
but
words, he told her, kick rocks, Donna.
but
That's
the
what he
biggest
said.
the biggest
wait a
thing
minute.
the
You
biggest
know
thing was
what?
back to
She was-
communication, right?
She was
Right?
willing, Everson. She was willing to give him everything that he needed. But guess what? His mind later on, a few weeks later,
communication.
his mindset went,
It
well, why you want a part of my business? I don't want you to be a 50-50 partner. Well, wait a minute, we together.
But
you're not gonna be. Communication is key. You can't. Oh, I need you to do this. You can't make demands. Right. It has to be a conversation. Right. No.
But I'm saying when she went in,
so when she came at him with, "I'm here to help you,"
Mhm.
he like, well, "You just my side piece." It could
no, side piece. They together. They was together.
Like together, living together.
No, they weren't living together.
Communication.
They weren't living together.
Communication is key.
But she had everything that he needed.
But that don't
It
matter.
don't matter. He
That don't
obviously
matter.
didn't
He didn't
want
want
it or even see it.
Yeah,
You
he
can't
wasn't even
force
thinking like that.
people.
Yeah.
That's where that communication
true.
comes into
Wasn't
play.
even thinking like that.
When
He
you know,
was
you
like,
know, and you don't, you don't.
Yeah. He
Period.
thinking like, oh,
But
she's
yet,
trying to
period.
get my
but wait
pocket.
a
She
minute.
wanted him to
She
be
won't
something that
have
he
it,
didn't want to be.
But you and thank you.
He
Thank
is
you right
not
there.
that-
And the
Donna,
thing
he
about
ain't
it,
baby. He
and
ain't
the
it.
thing about it is, again, falsifying what you are. He falsified in front of her.
How did
So
he
that
do that though? I
We
don't
can
know.
bring him to the water, but we can't make him drink. Okay, that's it.
Because he
But
put wait a minute,
it goes back
Keith, but he put it out there that you know I'm moving this, I'm moving that, but you know what? Right now I need to revamp. So Donna was like, well, you know, it's gonna take money for you to revamp, but because he was so stuck in his feelings, the first thing she said, well, you know what? I know Donna. Donna's a giving person. And she said, you know what? I believe in your brand. So, hey, listen, let me go ahead and be a 50-50 partner. I believe, this is my own opinion, I believe he got scared of that and thought that she wanted something else out of it. But guess what? Donna was like, listen, I'm rocking, I'm 6-figure. I don't need nothing. I just know I'm in a relationship with you. We're committed at this point. We're not married yet, but we're committed at this point. And I just want to help you out of a tight bond. Why go to an investor? Why go to and all this and that when I can be that?
Communication, being vulnerable, right?
I think in that situation, me personally, because if the relationship was or is the way you're explaining it, then he shouldn't have had no problem. Because
where do you think the problem came in?
I think that he probably saw the relationship differently than Donna did. Because if he automatically thinking, well, what the hell you want from me? Why you trying to get in over
So you think he didn't take Donna as an offers? Hey, listen, I'm just trying to help you.
No,
Everson, what
not
you think?
if his first instinct was to think, well, what you trying to get from me? No, he did not.
Do you think he respected her at all?
People that don't,
his love tank and her love tank was on two different
Right.
people that don't think the same initially aren't going to think the same
Ever.
later on down the road.
Probably.
You know
But
what
I'm just saying, I'm trying. Where I'm trying to get at is though this started out as just, hey, we're friends, and then we became more than friends. And he started telling her about the things
But she's
that
the
was going
breadwinner.
on. But she is the breadwinner.
Right.
He's not.
No.
So either you get on the same page or you gotta
Well,
go.
no. And that's okay.
And you-
it's okay.
I mean, what's so hard about that?
You know,
And
you just
because-
gotta go
That's
down
where
with
communication comes into play.
But wait a
Everybody
minute.
plays their
But let me
part.
tell you something. Let's go here real quick because we're only gonna stay on here for just a few more minutes.
Okay.
But our viewers are into this because of the energy. Let me tell you something. You gotta be careful when you mix sexual and accountability and sexual intake with trying to help someone.
Yeah, no.
because then it becomes you're in a relationship with this
Sex
person.
cannot be a temptation.
No, sex just gotta be good.
Mm-mm.
But my thing
Real
is, I'm letting you guys know it can complicate things.
If you let
If you let it.
So Donna's in this relationship, right?
But
She's in this relationship, and they just said they're gonna commit to each other. And but wait a minute, Donna wouldn't know nothing about this if he wasn't talking to her.
But here's
But
the
that's
thing.
because-
Here's the thing. It's meant to happen in this situation right now.
Right.
That's a good thing.
Before things got
Got
bigger
out of
and
hand.
out of hand, and now we having these
Yes.
problems, and now we
There
want to go
goes
blow each
those
other's house up.
seasons.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
those
Oh
Don't do
man,
that.
oh
Those
man.
Don't do that.
Donna
Oh, man.
understand the season that you're in and the season that he's in. You're going right and he's going backwards.
But you know, it's pretty sad. And you know, when the story was brought to me, Everson, it's pretty sad because I look at it as though we want to help each other.
Hey, I know we're on limited time. Let me get this in real quick.
Please get it in.
Because I got this
That's
one
all right.
little
That's
gold
okay.
nugget from
Nope,
Trent.
nope,
What is
nope.
his name? Trent Shelton or
I'm
something like
listening.
that.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
so what he said was stop blocking other people's blessings. You understand what that means?
That's
Look,
good.
you might not be my blessing, and I might not be yours. We tried to force that, but I'm not gonna block whose blessing you are and whose blessing I am. But we got to be mature enough to really have that conversation. Like, this is where it's going. Let's stop fooling each other. Let's both keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? Look, I like you, I love you, whatever, but for some reason, this right here ain't getting the full mesh like I'm looking at. You know what I'm saying? So we can still be cool. You know what I'm saying?
Can they come beyond
I don't
it?
have nothing. I don't have nothing.
You think they can come beyond it?
I don't think so.
No.
Once the rock is thrown, the glass is broke. You need new glass.
People might come around a little later on, and it might be a little too late.
Else.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But at initially,
Right.
you didn't have that vision. You didn't want that vision because otherwise.
So do you think communication, like if they're at the infancy piece right now, and I think there might have been some offline communication, and this is why I say
it may be too soon for her to even be asking that question.
That's a good thing too. This is what I'll say.
She's asking for advice, like what to do. I mean, everything's already been put on the table.
But it seems to me their love tanks was in two different places, because if their love
communication.
Okay, so let me say this. Let me say this. Sometimes, and this is me giving testimony. And this is just me. This is my opinion. And these are my guys. They rocking with me, but they don't rock with me with my opinion. I think sometimes when you're in infancy stage, my son said something to me the other day, my 24-year-old that works here with me. He said, I hate dating. I said, what do you mean?
Me too.
He said,
because dating is
and this is 20, he's 24 years old. And I had to really sit down and think about what he was saying. He said, because that honeymoon phase is so stupid.
Yes.
He said, because, once you get past the honeymoon phase, that's when reality really kicks in. But, and you know what he said? Sometimes, this is 24 years old. He said, sometimes when you're in a honeymoon phase, you want it all to look good. You want it all to fit. So my concern is this, Donna sis, you're in a honeymoon phase. Yeah. You're in a honeymoon phase right now. And if this guy can't tell you what it is that he wants, and expectations that he needs from you, it may be time. It may be time to move on, but that's your choice at the end of the day. But when do you know to bet on Donna? When do you know to bet on you and say, you know what, sir? I tried to help you in so many different ways, and it just didn't work, because I know for a fact she came several different ways.
It works both ways, though.
Yes,
that's
it does.
What I'm saying. So that honeymoon phase is not just one person; it's both. Maybe both didn't do the same things that they were doing in the beginning. Maybe the flowers aren't coming. Maybe the date nights aren't coming. Maybe the time is spent now working to where before it used to be once a week. Maybe those things are happening on both sides. We don't know the whole.
I think me personally, this is my opinion. I believe that, and this is just my opinion. And I'm glad that questions came to me, and I'm glad that I have you guys here as a support, because all those only quality people make a difference in my life. I believe that. Just my personal opinion, I believe he got scared. I believe he didn't have his ducks in a row. And when she asked for that partnership, I believe he thought that she wanted more from him than what he was willing to give. But that's when Everson said there should be a line of communication, because in that line of communication, and I want to say this, and I want to be very clear, there has to be a compatibility, first of all, in that line of communication as well. And my big thing is, even when I'm in business, and I want to say this, even when I'm working in business as a business coach or just a private investor or 50-50 partner, one of the things that we have to be is we have to be so solid in trust that we almost wiping each other's tail feather.
That's important, because
almost wiping each other's tail feather.
Because to say that, you're entrusting in someone else, right? So okay, she's the breadwinner, right? Mm-hmm. So he got to work on his submission. Yes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is. You knew that coming in, though.
As a man, there's nothing wrong with you giving up your part of submission.
But that's thrown out. Whatever works for different people works for different people, and that's what people don't understand. There's no one set way. What works for y'all? Hey, if the woman wants to pay all the bills and the man wants to be at home, that's what they got worked out.
That's what they got worked out. Hey, that worked. Work it out like that.
Ain't nobody's job to judge. And if it's the other way, the man, this that.
And even Donna man got other stuff to work.
But let me say this too.
We can't keep talking on him though.
But let me say this too.
We haven't had that conversation with him.
Let me say this too. But it's nobody's business how you getting it. You don't have to go and say, well, Donna was I'm sorry, we said, well, she's not a 50-50. You don't have to go tell people that. You just know that you got the money to go to the table to get the hell what you need.
Here's the thing. If the one person was doing X, Y, Z, right? The other person got to understand their role. And that comes from communication,
yes, it
regardless
does.
of what
It
that
does.
role is.
Yes.
I'm not saying if she making the money, he got to be at home. No, whatever works. Both of y'all can be working. Y'all can have nannies, whatever works for y'all. But that's up to y'all to communicate and to have that conversation. These are the expectations. This is the direction that I want to go. And for me, I'm gonna just keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? I learn more about communication every day because sometimes I'm moving so fast and I am aggressive. You know what I'm saying? I am that type of way, but I'm set to my goals, and that's why maybe my relationship, because I don't sometimes I move so fast, don't know how to tone it down. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I don't have time to sit here and argue about it. Like we either gonna have that understanding. This is what's going on. You know what I'm saying? We might not be on the same vision, but either you can get on and help with the way we going and help with this train and maintain this train and get to our final destination, or we just gonna have to part ways.
Well, and another thing that I think, and I want to say this for business, entrepreneurs, marriages, relationships, entanglements, you have to find someone. One of the things that was argumentative, and it was another one of my questions that was, and I'm just gonna throw it out there really quick. One of my questions that was, why can't someone complete you? You get into relationships to have so you and he can get together. And
can I answer that?
And you can complete.
Can I
each
answer
other.
that? I feel that us as entrepreneurs, we feel maybe sometimes that person can't complete because we didn't allow them close enough to really explain the true workings of what we feel and the direction that we want to go on communication.
I had a
we
male,
assume.
I
we
had
assume.
a male. Kecia, this is for you. I had a male tell me, and Everson, you as well, not you tell me this, but I had a man tell me that he doesn't want to get married to a woman, and he doesn't want to get entangled in a business relationship for anybody to complete him. I literally went at him because my thing is, at the end of the day, us expanding Brass Mill. And as everybody knows, we are expanding. We're in Delaware now. We're looking in Elton now. We haven't bought anything in Elton yet, but we are solid sunk in Delaware. We have 2 buildings there. We have 3 buildings here. And we have more on the way. When you get that 50-50 partner, that's a completion. That person is helping you build. And even when you're in a marriage and you got married to that person is there because, right, you're supposed to live to death do you part. It's a completion. And I was so upset with this person when they told me that, I know who I am. I don't need anybody to complete me. Then, sir, you're going to be out here a long time. Well, I'll be out here a long time.
I think that can go a couple different ways.
You'll be out here a long time, but he was silent on it.
I think
because I needed somebody. I needed somebody to help me complete my visions with what I wanted to do.
Vision. I think what he said, what y'all was saying, was 2 different things.
Okay.
Yes, we need someone to complete our vision, our purpose. I think that is true. But no, you should not need another person to complete who you are. Because what if the assignment is for you to do it by yourself, for you to be happy?
That's a good thing, because I didn't even think about it like that.
This other stuff, you have to be happy with who you are and where God has you at that moment. If you can't be happy in that moment, then you can't be happy with someone else or someone else in a relationship.
That's real.
Or someone
That's
else
real
in a
talk.
friendship.
That's real talk right there.
Because and then again tonight, what I'm hearing repeatedly from all of us, if we all take an inhale and exhale out, it has to be mindset. It has communication. It has to be communication, and it has to be your drive. It has to be your driven purpose. And guess what? And then one thing Everson and I talked about before we came on screen, we don't know any millionaire or billionaire that made it out here on their own without some type of help. So us in this community line, let's not, if you have someone that wants to invest in you and someone that wants to believe in you, go to that person instead of the bank. It works out better every day. Even if you have to put pen and paper to the loan that you gave to each other, or back in the day, Everson, people used to cut their finger and blood in, blood out. We from the streets. We from the streets. Blood in, blood out. I mean, but You don't never get out. That's the thing. You don't never get out. You always render some type of service. But that's for a whole different show. But the thing about it is, I'm going to say this, and this is testimony. Brass Mill was built off of personal money.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I had to humble myself and make that call to an Everson or make that call to some of my partners and say, hey, listen, I'm down to my last 20,000. Can you get me that? Because at that point in time, when and Everson, you know this as being real estate, you know, I can have credit, I can have money, but that debt to ratio thing is for real. Because guess what? I had to literally do that when I went to go buy. I think we were talking about it when I went to go buy Delaware, right? Guess what they told me? Nah, sis. Yep. They told me no, because they said we're looking at your debt to ratio. So I literally said, okay, how do I do this? She said, you have to go back. This is what having a business coach needs a business coach. Okay. An accountant needs an accountant. I went back to my business coach. She said, what you do is you go partner up with Brass Mill. So that way that your name ain't on solely on that. So when you go to buy something, he said, I guarantee you, this is what my business coach told me, I guarantee you in a year, if you keep operating and moving the way you moving, you're going to be able to put your name on a building by yourself. And guess what? You have to start trusting and believing in someone in order to get to the next step. That's That's
that communication and vulnerability, right?
Because facts say Delaware is not a partnership. Delaware is mine.
We're taught.
But you have to take that trust and put it on the table and understand it, embrace it, love it, and know it. Because I'm telling you, you're not going to get a lot of people in your life that's going to come along, Kecia, and say, I'm the answer. I am the answer. You're not going to get
growth.
that.
That's growth and being vulnerable. And in order to go to next levels, in order to take it to that next step, you have to be vulnerable. This is what I got going on. Okay, it might not be this, that, yada, or the way it's supposed to be, but let's work it out. You know what I'm saying? And come into that realization, like, look, it's time for that next level. And I need to be a different person. I need to be a better person.
And I want to leave. I'm gonna definitely leave out on that note, because sometimes we have to get into ourselves and understand what a better person looks like. You know, because I can tell you right now, Everson and I butt heads plenty of times, but I see the better person he is, because I took that opportunity and he walked in and trusted me. So right there, that's a lot of power in a room when you walking in. And I know you're not this way, but I've had many men walk into my office and be like, "Oh, she a woman, she don't know what she's talking about." But then I've had guess what happened? You know this for a fact. A lot of them came back.
Right.
A lot of them came back. So it takes a strong man to know his mindset and say, I know this is my baby, but I got to trust her. I got to trust it with somebody.
Woman, whatever. It's tough to do that self-evaluation, but it's
so important, man.
You know what I'm saying? Because you got to know you. You can't expect somebody else to know you or help you if you don't even know yourself.
But another thing is, don't lose out on a good opportunity, because you won't get into your own self.
That's right.
You won't get out your own way. Don't, and you know what? Time is one of the things in life that we can't get back. Don't waste your time being so stagnant. You know, everybody's always been hurt. Everybody's always hurt, but you have to get back. And one thing about me, everybody say, "Oh, Doc, you wear heels every day." They tease me all the time, don't y'all, Kecia? Doc wear heels every day. Let me tell you why. I like being uncomfortable, because that gives me the ability to say I can stand anywhere. Even it might be on uneven ground. It might be on, and I think we talked about this on your show. I can stand on a rock. A lot of people say, if I go, you ever been to the beach? I'm gonna go find me a smooth rock so I can stand up there with mighty and power. But guess what? If you're uncomfortable and you wore them heels, you know where you can stand. Get in the room where you can stand. Get in. Sometimes it's uncomfortable to go into Doc's office as a man or a woman and say, "Doc, my stuff's not right, but I know you can help me get right." I don't want to show you where I ain't right. Right. Because everybody know Doc will be like, "Show me where you ain't right." Because if you're coming in here, 9 times out of 10, you ain't right. And not everybody wants to do that. But stop wasting time. Stop wasting time. And sometimes you just got to get out of that uncomfortable phase. Not everybody's here in entrepreneurship to hurt you. But guess what? There are some still gurus out there that will take advantage of you. I'm not saying don't suit up for the fight.
Right.
But just
stop pointing the finger at
but
places that
just
don't
know
need to
who
be
to
pointed
fight.
and pointing at yourself.
And just know who to fight. Every morning you get up, and this is going to be where we're going to end. Every morning I get up and I look in the mirror and I say to myself, are you geared up for the fight? Because at the end of the day, you're going to go 12 rounds by yourself first before you get to the office.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? If you made it through those 12 rounds before you made it to the office, I'm good enough to help Everson. I'm good enough to help Kecia. I'm good enough to help the other 35 people that I have. One business coach, 35 clients, and a whole bunch of other things. If I'm good enough, I already geared up for the fight when I got up that morning. When I'm looking at these two already beat me to post and morning walks and whatever, yada, yada, woo, woo.
Gotta be on it, dog.
But one thing I know is, Everson, I'm still a contender. I'm still comfortable.
Right.
So guess what? If you are out there and you have a business, and guess what? You ain't got to involve 1,000 investors. You got that one person that wants to invest in you. Play it smart. See, communicate, as these two said, communicate and see where that person's going. But guess what? You have to take a chance somewhere. Right. So if you say to myself, well, guess what, Donna? I want you to be my 50-50 partner, but let's write something down.
Yeah.
Let's write something down.
You got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable because there's no growth in the comfort zone. Get out the box.
And you know what? And I love one thing that Everson said, ask questions. Okay, Donna. And Kecia said, well, what do you want out of this? Like, what do you want out of the 50-50? And one thing Everson said, she may not want any money. She may be just the person say, you know what? I went into partnership with people, Everson, and this might be a little crazy, right? I went into partnership with people just to get Brass Mill's name out there.
Hey, but
and
that's the end game.
And you know, I'm giving away a lot of, and
that's
Everson can tell you, I'm giving away a lot of free coaching. Yeah. Because I don't need, and then many a times he's walked in and referred people to me like, oh, Everson referred you? No, forget that consultation fee right now. Who, wait a minute, who sent you? Everson sent me. Cool. Well, guess what? What I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to waive all fees for you today because I know where you coming from. And guess what? This put Brass Mill's name out there. Sometimes you don't need any money.
Right.
But if you don't go to the table and communicate to let me know what you need, you just assuming at this point.
Right.
And guess what? Don't let all them Donnas go.
Hey.
Donna better than Donna better than the small business loan.
Y'all got her number?
Well, look, Everson said, "Give me Donna's number," and because that small business loan, man, they looking at 9 to 15%. Donna said, "That's all I want. That's all I want to do is help
50-50. I'm with that business. Let's go."
What? And again,
got that or a truck this year, so let's do it.
Everson, with you being in the business that you in, right? With you being in the business, let me say something. If somebody walk over with me, Kecia, and say, "Listen,
these are stipulations.
How much we need?
How
much we need?
One, we bed talking each other, so that's good. We happy about that. 2, wait a minute, and she gonna give me some money, and guess what? And she wants to see me grow, right? And she said we can write this down. What? So wait a minute. She didn't said that's all I want you to do is put my name up on the board beside yours. Because if you think about it, at the end of the day, if they're really going to grow together, it's going to benefit both of them.
But they both got to be on the same page, regardless of how it is.
Was at different levels.
Hey.
I think they love tanks.
So guess what? Kecia, what we're going to do is we're going to challenge you to bring us back on your show and see what we can do on your show. Tonight we spent a lot of time letting people know about community. We're going to bring Donna in. We definitely bring her in. Tonight we spent a lot of time talking about communication, talking about being in line, talking about know your purpose, talking about changing your mindset so you can win. At the end of the day, Everson said, it's the destination. Stay focused. Stop letting little things distract you. And guess what? You sit up here arguing with Donna, and Donna's the one.
Yes. You gonna win.
Bro, you gonna win.
Before you win.
And listen, don't always roll the dice. Sometimes sit the dice down and say, you know what? Donna said I didn't need those dice.
Right. Hey, in order to grow, we got to step outside of our comfort zones. And when you step outside of those zones, you put yourself in a very vulnerable position, right? And in order to do that, that's where growth is at. And that's where we have to go. You can't keep all these things inside if you expect to grow, because if you had all the answers inside in the first place, you'd be a
Right.
lot further than where you at right now. You
Right.
wouldn't be out here looking for help. You wouldn't be out here, you know, looking for mentorship because you know it all, quote unquote, right?
Yep,
But you have to step
yep.
outside of that zone. You don't know it all. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in that situation.
Right.
And I share that because I was in those type of situations. I continue to do many things, but the back office was still messed up. I'm moving so fast, I ain't paying attention. You know what I'm saying? So when I came here, I'm in a different place right now. You know what I'm saying? And I challenge everybody to be vulnerable. I challenge everybody from today on to communicate. You know what I'm saying? If it's not working, if something happened from that conversation you had, maybe try a different route.
Right.
You know
The
what I'm saying?
approach is everything.
Everything.
The approach
Everything.
is everything.
But have those conversations. You know what I'm saying? Don't assume somebody knows this or know that.
Or
Be
don't assume
sure.
somebody wants to take something from you.
Right.
But you know what I think sometimes?
That's people's insecurities.
I was about to
That's
say-
what that is.
Thank you.
That's what that is.
I was just getting ready to go there
Oh, no,
because
Bella.
you know what, Kecia? You know, the funny thing about it is all of us have some type of insecurity in us because all of us have been hurt in some type of form of fashion in this entrepreneurship business. All of us, even outside of the entrepreneurship business. But one thing I can tell you is sometimes it's okay to stand on uncomfortability because you learn how to balance yourself. Life is about a balancing act. That's what it truly is. So sometimes, just like a wonderful conversation tonight, Everson brought everything that he could to the table, and this is not something that he wavers from. This is him. This is who he is. This is who Kecia is. That's why tonight it was so important to have y'all two on because I want people to understand. First, this entrepreneurship thing ain't for everybody.
Right.
But when you get a doc in your life, I ain't talking about Donna.
Absolutely.
I
ain't
hear
talking
you.
about
I
Donna
hear you.
right now.
I hear you.
I'm not talking about Donna. I'm talking about myself, my testimony.
You're right.
It is my pleasure to work alongside of these two people. It is my pleasure. And my pleasure shows in my ability to work for you. And guess what? Your back office was a mess. But coming here, we're gonna get you straight. And that's what I've always said. You and the first thing I said to him in that office that day, and he had a little stuff all nice and neat. And I knew that was a setup because don't nobody come in there like that. I said, I leaned back in my chair after we kicked it for about an hour, talking about how we knew each other and talking about stuff that we did in the past. I leaned back in my chair as he neatly slid me papers across my desk. And I slid them and stopped him right there. This is the question. I didn't ask him, did he need a business coach? I didn't ask him that. I asked him, do you trust me? Because if there's no trust, there's no reason for us to keep this communication line going.
Facts.
Yep.
And you know what? He wavered a little bit, and it took him a little bit to come on back, but he came on back. But when he came back legit, and he came back with the fact of the matter, this is what I need from you. Can you do it? I told him yes, and we've been working on it ever since, Kecia. You got to trust somebody out here.
Right.
You got to. Okay. So tonight we had a great conversation.
Yeah.
Great nuggets was dropped. Communication, balance, mindset, changing it, vulnerability, structure. Anything else y'all want to throw in?
I'm gonna throw in one thing. I want to thank you, Doc. I want to thank Brass Mill.
Yes,
I want to thank the podcast studio. I want to thank all y'all for even having me on here and listening to me and hearing me out. I'm not. I'm just an honest person. You know, it is what it is. Some people might take it a certain type of way, or people, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's what it is at the end of the day, and it's growth.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? We continue to grow. We continue to be green, and the ones that grow will always be good. You know what I'm saying? Don't be stagnant. You know what I'm saying? Just continue to grow. Be vulnerable. Trust the right people. Okay, and then you have to do that self-analyzation. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you can only point your finger at yourself. You allowed that to happen.
That mirror is something. That mirror is something, right? That mirror is something. When you look up in the mirror and you know it was all you. Oh, that's a hard place to be sometimes. It's being in the mirror. People think, we all three of us, we look good, especially being the age we are. We love the mirror, but we love the mirror because we know where we've been.
Right.
Yep.
And we've been in those vulnerable states to where that mirror didn't look so good for us. Miss Kecia, go ahead and end it for us.
Only thing I got is for Donna. Throw the fish back.
Throw the fish back, Donna.
Hey, but I just want to say, man, thank y'all for listening.
Yes, thank you.
I know we dropped a couple nuggets. I know we had a bunch of different things going on here, but we appreciate y'all as well at the end of the day.
Yep.
So guess what? We are going to sign off. I am Dr. Stacey Venable.
And holler at Doc if you need coaching. That's real talk.
Thank you so much.
I'm in a much better place now.
Thank you.
And coaching. You want to
real
start a
talk.
podcast,
Stop playing with
whatever
yourself.
your dreams
Stop
are.
playing.
We
Make the moves.
Make the moves. I'm
real.
here. Again,
it better be some people on there right now talking about, let me get in there.
Trust me. And Kecia, Everson, please share the show.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
And you know what? Thank you guys for so much love, because you guys support me. You guys have supported me when I was down. You guys have supported me when I'm up. You guys have supported me through me finding my destination and keeping my 6 figures. And as I keep my 6 figures, I'm allowing you to come alongside of me and keep your 6 figures. We keeping each other good. You see what I'm saying? We keeping each other good. So I am Dr. Stacey Venable. I'm the owner of the Business Suites of Brass Mill here at Bell Camp, Maryland. I am the owner of the Business Suites in Delaware, also the podcast studio here at Brass Mill and at Delaware. The new executive offices will be opening at the end of the month. We are super excited. That was a hard demo, a hard process. But again, we trust our purpose. And that purpose was to get that open, to bring more business hubs to people that look like us and the people that are still grinding like us. We all need a place to grow. We all need if you have a seed, water it and see where it goes. Water it and see where it goes. But be vulnerable, as Everson said, to be watered. And not watered down. When I want to drink, I want to drink. I don't want to water it down. Okay. And we are not, and we speaking of drinks, we about to hit the road. We not watered down people.
Lit is over.
Lit is no. I Pastor no.
Lit is over.
No.
He has risen.
No. Pastor no. That's them. That's my guess. I can't take accountability. You heard the
He
disclosure.
has risen.
Pastor, you heard the disclosure before we got started. That's their own views and their own opinions. So if you're looking for me, please follow me on all of my social media platforms. Please, I am in the office most likely Monday through Friday from 10 to 6. Give us a call at 410-297-9300 if you're looking for any business concierge services, because we have a numerous packet of concierge services to help keep your business flourishing. We also have investments. We also have networking. We have a lot of those things right here at the Business Suite at Brass Mill. One of my new slogans is, come join a family, just not a business hub. I want to tell you guys, it's been real. And I thank my guests. They are my friends. They are my friends in business. They're my friends outside of business. They're my trust A1s in the whole. Everybody needs one. So we're going to sign off tonight. Thank you so much for watching. And it was a